Around a third of the way through my A-levels, I was sitting in my living room on a cold winter's morning watching the news when I saw this new virus on the television. I mean, little did we all know how much an effect this would have on our lives. With my lessons being moved online at the same time my teacher was unfortunately injured in an accident, I was stuck without any guidance, motivation or idea on what to do next. The value of independent online learning was astonishing to me. I used this website called Seneca to learn and revise the second half of A-level economics, eventually resulting in being awarded an A for my efforts, whilst the other half of my class failed due to the circumstances. In 2000, the average attention span was 12 seconds. Today, it's 8.25. And in a world where information is presented in the form of skippable 30-second videos, a 1-hour lesson simply is too much to ask for many young people. We catered our design for this skills enablement game around these facts, targeting it towards young people and looking at other similar games on the market, looking at parts they did best and trying to implement this in our vision. I'm Toby, the team leader for this project, and I'm not just interested in learning. In 2018, I started my own game development journey, which ended in August of this year releasing my own game to Steam, a carefully curated action puzzle game called TV189. With my prior knowledge and the skilled members of our team, we will be able to develop a successful game which will get young people more interested in learning in a fun and interactive way.
The art style and visual choice for any video game is key to the entire experience, and it sets the tone for the whole game. We looked at other similar games to ours, such as the Battle for Polytopia and Forest. These have simple, low-poly art styles which would work well in web-based applications, where resources are limited and optimization is required. The menu system in mind for our game would be intuitive and simple for all users, with the main focus being on the city, hiding complex options behind collapsible menus. Due to optimization constraints of rendering thousands of individual citizens, we chose to abstract the traffic within the city to represent density using methods of transport, starting from little cars and moving up to things like buses and trams. Concept renders for these ideas will be shown next to me. The buildings transform themselves and are added after completing skill shared courses, depending on the course chosen. So if business course was completed, then a bank might be added to symbolise this change. The actual models within the game will be made in a voxel style and viewed from an isometric 3D perspective. The same perspective used in many successful building games at the moment, including the original Roller Coaster Tycoon. An advantage of using this kind of model is that you don't need an orbiting camera, as everything is visible from the perspective of the user. These kind of games are popular at the moment, and these graphics will make it inviting and friendly to new users, but they can also be lost in the details we've included within the game. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Harry. I'll be working with Callum and we are both studying computer science with artificial intelligence. We will be developing the AI within the game. We will be creating the algorithms and models that will simulate other people competing against the main player. These computer players will adapt different strategies to allow for more diverse and varying gameplay. Writing our program in C# will allow us to make use of the versatile .NET artificial intelligence library, which is a powerful tool allowing for a broad range of customizability. One of our main aims for the development of the game is to offer our users a range of inclusive features in order to cater to their personal background. This would include the ability to change the difficulty levels of the AI players to support people of different ages and abilities. Our software is reliant on the players' citizens making independent decisions about whether to migrate or stay and reproduce, depending on their opinion of the city. For example, if the city is being neglected by the player and not receiving any upgrades, then citizens will likely leave for more successful cities. In order for the player to keep their city growing and the citizens happy, they will need to consistently complete learning experiences. Other competing cities may be controlled by either a real-time player or an AI player. This will motivate and encourage the player to continue completing learning tasks.
Regarding the multiplayer servers and our approach, we intend to have a server instance on the IBM cloud, as shown by the diagram next to me. The server instance, which interacts with the IBM cloud, hosts and stores user lobbies. If no players are online or connected to the lobby, the server instance will stop hosting it and it will go offline in order to save some resources, reduce strain, and just generally reduce the load. However, when someone reconnects, the server will come online again, it will start hosting again, and it will simulate the time passed in order to give the appearance that the server has been constantly online the whole time the users weren't. Using private lobbies, there's many advantages for education, with schools hosting them for classes, or even for some related businesses to get some basic training for staff. These private lobbies should be joinable through something like a code or a link, and hosting it independently avoids the laborious task of port forwarding, using IP addresses, configuring these addresses, and constantly having a computer on. So this makes the web app more freely accessible, even to those who are not as technically literate. A size restriction will be put on each lobby in order to stop massive online lobbies from being created. We also intend to implement capture in order to stop the risk of denial of service or DOS attacks, as bots will not be able to pass the captures on the web application, targeting personal servers and causing mayhem. And up next is John to talk about how we plan to integrate the IBM Cloud.
Hi, I'm John, Git lead for Team 47. We plan on using integrations from the IBM Cloud Suite for storing data from each game lobby and about each individual player on the game state. This will be saved on a managed SQL database on the IBM DB2 on cloud. IBM DB2 on Cloud is the fully managed SQL cloud database, which offers us great support for an operations team, point-in-time recovery, and high availability disaster recovery. This will allow user accounts to be stored with built-in recovery at any point to allow for seamless access, and also built-in row column access controls with IBM Key Protect, which will help ensure data security. We also plan to integrate IBM event streams to automatically update local data views of each player from back-end systems integrated into the IBM DB2 cloud, and synchronize all events occurring across the game for multiplayer lobbies.
Taking some inspiration from Tribal Wars, we decided that Watson's text-to-speech would be used to create an in-game guide, personified through a lovable robot talking to the user throughout their progression within the game. We've created a concept model for this, shown next to me, and we can even show Watson's opinion on your city through facial expression and tone. As an example, when the user first opens the game, they'd be greeted by Watson and put through a tutorial showing what UI elements are used for, and also shown through gameplay fundamentals. Watson would improve accessibility as a result of audio, as instead of a player stopping what they're doing to read a large paragraph or block of text, Watson would appear on screen and read the text while the user would carry on playing. In addition, some people may simply prefer listening rather than reading, although it could go the other way too, in which Watson could be muted.
Benjamin Franklin said, "By failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail." On that foundation, I want to present to you our proposed timescale and milestones. Design and thinking ahead is key in a project of this scope. Jumping straight into development and working through that as we go along would be unwise in a project of this size. We intend to partake in market research and create use cases to communicate to you a list of desired requirements and turn this into a software specification. From here, we can create a low-level system design of how we intend to implement this in a way that can be split up and managed through paired programming. With the use of Git, we intend to work on this project in pairs. This allows us to write better code through peer assessment. We aim to start development before Christmas, which will be completed in a series of 2-week agile sprints, with progress being logged by our team administrator, Callum. After this, unit, system, and user testing will all be completed, using a survey document to rate user experiences before preparation for final handover. Inclusion of our sponsor and a constant message throughout the next year will motivate us to deliver on spec and on time in an unmissable stall, the program event next summer. We hope to hear.
Thank you for watching our pitch,
It'd be a pleasure to work with you on this project.
And we hope to hear from you soon.